Alright guys, so I've seen a couple questions asking about the various options the VIP has. So what I'm going to do at this point is just kind of give you a quick run through as to the different options. Certain things are going to change in a week or so. As I mentioned in a few posts back that that there will be a new firmware update, and that's going to bring along some new changes. So this is what we have for now. So let me get into the menu. Once you get into the menu, I have to click on the S for those who don't know. So tap the S, go to settings. Actually, no, let me go back to info. I go to info, versions, and this is the current firmware on this particular model. It's version 3.0.28 UK. And yes, it does indicate UK even though it's a US version. Why, I don't know, but it is the US firmware. And there are the various component firmware revisions. Let me go back. Now at this point I'm going to go to the different menu options. So as you can see on the first screen, we have pilot, info, off, settings, transfer data, and erase. Let's go into settings. That brings me to the other set of menus, and here we have radar, laser, fixed location, specs, alert behavior, and then the next option. So if I were to go into radar, this is where I would obviously go in and make changes to my radar settings, the different bands, the band segmentation options that we have for now. This is where I would go in and make my changes, enable false list, dynamic sensitivity options, pop mode, in-car radar filter, and then we have K-band radars here. And within this option we have all and low power only. Low power only is not the low power that we use here. It's something very different, so that should not be checked. For the US it has to be all. So that's under the radar screen. Now if I go into laser, we have laser alerting, laser shield, shield uptime, side lasers, test laser shield. So those are the options we have there. I go back, fixed locations. If I wanted to enable the database for red light cameras and speed cameras, things like that, this is where I would go ahead and make the change. So I turn it off for now. Specs, again, that's an enforcement a tactic used in not in the US, but if we needed to enable that option, that's where we would go. Alert behavior. So here we have some adjustments for sensitivity. As you can see, at the moment I have it set to the center line. It was on all the way to the right, which is the 1, but I've changed it to the center line, just for testing's sake. So that's where you have that. I guess the question you're going to ask is whether or not it makes a difference. It does make a little difference, but hopefully when we get the new firmware, we should see more of an impact from that particular option. So let's move to next, and that gives us the other set of menus: mileage log, safety signals, police check, display sound, and next. So police check, as you probably read online, it has to do with you being able to pull the detection and detection times, whether via radar or LiDAR, that the unit has encountered over a set period of time. Safety signals, I think that has to do with the SWS safety signal. It's something I'm not very familiar with, but those options are off for me because again, it's not something that I need or use. Mileage log, can't speak much to that. Something I don't use, but you can always read up on that. Display, just have options for the display here. We can change the stinger color, the stinger brightness. We can change the auto brightness, things like that. Just display type stuff. If I go back, I have sound, and here we have the options to make changes to the sound, the volume, mute level, startup sound, voice, Let's see, what else do we have here? Simple Sound. Simple Sound is, if that's enabled, it gives you, how should I explain that? It gives you a very nice low alert tone, as opposed to the typical you know, noise that it makes. The Simple Sound is definitely a more calming sound. So if one doesn't like to hear the regular ramp up, then you can choose a Simple Sound option, and you have the option to change the volume for Simple Sounds here. So let's go back to the next option, and that gives us the last two options on the VIP. And we have Speed Sense, and if I were to toggle on that, I think one of the guys was asking about that last night, and I think it was Wind Strings. But here is where one would go in and toggle Speed Sense, and then if you wanted to go in, you can actually change from the, I think there are 5, no, actually there are 6. Oh yeah, there are 5. So we have 5 user changeable options. So if, let's say, if I were to tap on the 55, I could, you know, go up and down, and I'm going to show you how that works in a second. So this is where we go enable Speed Sense. Let me go back and then go into System Settings. Here is where you change the time, language. You can change the side button functions. The side buttons are, even though it can't be seen, but they're actually here, 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 and here. So if I were to tap on this side, that's how I adjust my volume. I decrease it, and then if I were to go here, I'd toggle between the pilot screen and the regular threat display screen. And I don't think I have assigned a function here. Maybe to turn K-band off. I'm not 100% sure. But this is where, if I were to click here, is where I'd go in and make the change the options. So let's go back. I can disable the compass. I can turn off the expert mode, and if I were to turn off the expert mode from within the screen, then I won't have the segmenting options that we saw earlier on the radar screen. So that's that for the menu options. Let me just show you Speed Sense for a second. So I go back to the main screen, and if I were driving, all I have to do is just tap on this 0 here, and then it gives me the options, and I just make a choice. So anything under 65 miles an hour, I would not hear any alerting to. And of course, if I wanted to, based on how I'm driving and where I'm driving, if I'm back, you know, in town, I go 20 miles an hour. So nothing under 20 I'll hear. And if I set this to, so even if I come to a stop and I'm, you know, I'm in a shopping mall, and you have K-band and X-band, all sorts of junk that's going on. Or even real radar, anything below the set value here will not, you'd not hear the audible alert. You will get the visual indication. As a matter of fact, I think you do get an audible alert, and you can adjust that. Yeah, so I think there's a correction there. You will hear the alert, and it's you can adjust that volume. But if you want to turn it off, you can turn it off as well. But like I said, with any detection the unit sees, you will always get the heads up on the display. As you can see, X and K is off, Spotless is off, and that's indicated by the red dash. Specs, as you can see, also has the red dash. Safety also has the red dash. So that's pretty much it.